Welcome back to the UNCP Sports Black and Gold Report. I'm joined now by UNCP Baseball coach Paul O'Neill. Coach, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Your team has been on a hot streak early, 11 games into the season. Your team's looked really strong so far. How do you feel the team has been progressing?
Well, obviously, we're doing very well right now. I think guys are getting better. Guys are getting more comfortable. They're just working every day, trying to see if they can get a little better each day, and it's been happening so far for us.
The offense has put up some big numbers to start the season, scoring in double figures in 7 of the first 10 games. What have you liked about the team's approach at the plate?
Well, when we stay within our approach or our base package of what we're trying to do, usually we have a lot of success with it. Usually when we get out of that approach is when we get ourselves out and so forth. But, the guys have worked really hard. They've been trying, to stay within what our approach is as a ball club. And, it's great to see them have success, for all their hard work.
One of the other strengths this year has been the bullpen. Who are some of the guys, non-starters on the mound, who have really impressed you the most?
Well, I think when I think of the bullpen, there's several guys down there. The first one that comes to mind is Henry Simpson. He's been excellent out of the pen. He's been a strike thrower. He's been able to get us out of some jams, so forth. There's been a bunch of guys. I mean, I can name them all right here. Kyle Ramsey's been looking well. Dale Masterson, Aaron Biggerstaff, River Ryan. All of those guys have thrown well, out of the bullpen for us. So they've all pounded the strike zone. They've thrown a lot of strikes. And they're a big key part to our success.
Well, there are plenty of players on this year's team who have been in the program for a few years, and also some newcomers who've made a big impact right away. Who among the newcomers have shown you they're ready to be key contributors?
Well, I think out of the newcomers, when I think of the newcomers, we have some transfers, we have some young guys. I mean, that's what's been exciting for me, is to see some of the younger players as far as how their development has come from the fall to right now. And we're playing a lot of younger guys. Anybody who comes out, to our game sees that we might be starting 4 freshmen at one time, and that's not something that's going to be, abnormal for us this year. I mean, I got a lot of confidence in those kids. We're getting them on the field. We want to see them develop because that's the future of our program.
On the base paths, the Braves are already closing in on the total number of stolen bases from last season after just 11 games this year. Has that been a change in philosophy or just a coincidence?
It's a coincidence. We're trying to run. We always want to be aggressive with it. This past weekend we didn't run the bases as well as we probably should have. So it's an ongoing process that we're always trying to get better at it. We're trying to work on reading pitchers and getting jumps and picking the right count to run in, and trying to stay out of double plays and so forth. And it's a process that every kid is trying to learn. Some are learning it a little more quickly than others.
There's one more weekend series here taking on Lake Erie before Peach Belt Conference play begins on March 3rd. How has the recent stretch prepared your team for the PBC Gauntlet?
Well, I think having this first month of non-conference action for us has allowed us to try to figure out our rotation as far as what we want to do. It's helped out with the bullpen as far as bringing guys in certain situations. It's allowed us to play a lot of different players and so forth. So when you can play 12, 13, 14 games or something before you start league play, that obviously gives you an advantage going into league play because you kind of know what you have right then versus in years past. We've played second weekend of the season has been league play, and you really didn't know what you really had. You're going off of a fall and so forth, and there's a big difference between the fall and the spring.
Some of the games your team has played so far have been a little bit lopsided, your team putting up a lot of runs, and the pitching has been really solid. How do you maintain focus?
Well, if you look at the scores, the scores have come out lopsided, but the games have been pretty close throughout a greater portion of it. We've just been fortunate to have a big inning somewhere in the ballgame that broke the game wide open that made the score lopsided. So we've played in some games that have been very close for us where guys have had to really concentrate, and there's been some pressure, if you would ever want to call it, or whatnot, as far as your performance goes and being able to execute at a higher rate. So those have prepared us for it. The games are a lot closer, than the score has shown.
How much have you been looking at what other teams in the Peach Belt Conference have been doing in the early portion?
I don't look at it a whole lot. I'm really concerned about what we're doing. That's my main focus. How are we playing? How are we developing? What do we need to do to get better so that we can continue to grow from February into March into April so that we're playing our best baseball at the end of the year?
Coach Paul O'Neill, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We need to take one more time out here on the Black and Gold Report. We'll be back right after these messages.